Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Scott Toy Guru Neitlich, and we're talking trends in toys. And two of the biggest things going on right now are, well, character selection going down and cost going up. Well, we've dealt with this for actually quite a while now, but we're really hitting the apex of this, and let me kind of explain why. So we're on the verge of, I guess, what I'm calling the $30 basic 6-inch figure, right? And we're already seeing things like the Maximum Spider-Man going for $50. And well, basic 6-inch from Hasbro and Mattel going for $25 or $24.99. Although I think Amazon's already bumped a lot of them to $25.99. Squeeze out in some extra margin there for them. So, well, why do I think they're going to $30? Well, because something really unusual is going on, and I've mentioned this in a few videos. Particularly at Hasbro, instead of increasing the cost for figures as prices go up, which is traditionally what toy companies do. I mean, look at basic Star Wars figures, right? They started at $4.99 and they're now at $16.99, even though they have more articulation now. But, point being, toys do go up in price. So what's unique about the current situation at Hasbro in particular, did I say particular twice there? Maybe. Department of Redundancy Department. Instead of increasing the price to maintain quality, they are lowering quality to maintain price, which does not sound as evil or bad as maybe I made it sound. There's been, a lot of people jump to the conclusion that the big toy companies are just raking in the money and, they're raising prices to pad their golden pockets. That's very much not true. I mean, that's the reason why Hasbro has stated outright that they want to get out of the toy business and get more into licensing and card games, which are inexpensive to make. There's no tooling. The margins for action figures are very small. The print runs or the production run, also very small. Kids don't play with toys the way they used to. I mean, when we were all kids, we played with Transformers and G.I. Joe and Star Wars and Ninja Turtles and Power Rangers and all that stuff. Kids have phones. I mean, kids have, apps, and basically once you hit 4 or 5, that you're kind of done with kid play. It used to last all the way through 13 or 14. I mean, it is halved in the last 20 years, basically, the amount of time that kids engage with toys. All right, so again, why do I think we're looking at the $30 basic 6-inch figure? Well, like I said, so we've already seen, I'll show you some examples. So here we have a Beta Ray Bill figure, right, from a couple years ago, and both the silver on his helmet and the silver on his shoulder pads are painted gold and silver. Versus if you look at something like Cortez here, who I just picked up, I mean, if you go shoulder pad to shoulder pad there, I mean, right there is the difference, is, raw plastic, paint. Raw plastic, paint. And you can see this also on, like, this Thor, right? His legs. His legs are actually, it's the same color plastic, I think, that Cortez has on his shoulder pads. And again, looking at that even, like, with this, Thanos figure. Thanos? Pronounce him how you will. Thanatos, so it'd be Thanos. Thanatos was the Greek god of death. So, all right, gosh, I'm not even speaking with my microphone. I should probably, actually position this so you can hear me. All right. So, yes. Oh, I dropped my god of death. I always do that. So, yeah, I mean, you could see this isn't just raw plastic. It is painted. You can actually, if you kind of peel it up, you can see what color the raw plastic is underneath, and it's a lesser gold. Versus, again, if you look at Thor's boots, you could really see the difference here, right, between the painted plastic and the raw plastic. So as I've explained, Hasbro's doing this to keep the figures at $25. And what it looks like, especially from early line lists we've seen, is by the end of the year, we're going to be at $27.99, and then it's just kind of a hop, skip, and a jump to $30. And with it hitting $30, that's kind of the point I want to make to all of you guys, is that an off-ramp, I guess, for you? A lot of us felt $25 was an off-ramp. Like, I can't keep going. For me, I feel like I'm at the end of my toy collecting, not because the prices are too high, but I have everything I want. I have I had a set of X-Men figures and a set of Spider-Man figures and a set of Star Wars figures that I wanted to get. I've wanted to have a complete He-Man line. I've wanted to have, I've got a shelf of 6-inch figures from all sorts of different mixed media. These are the things that I've wanted for, 20, 30 years. When I started collecting toys, I've always built these specific shelves. And now there are some things that are showing up. I'm like, oh my gosh, that wasn't on my list. Like that, too many Cokes. That NECA Alf figure. I almost said that Alpha NECA figure. Wasn't on my list, but I was like, oh my gosh, Alf. Yep, gotta have Alf. But other than, a couple surprises like that, I'm waiting for just a few small gaps. I mean, finish X-Force, get Feral out there, finish Excalibur, let's get Rachel Summers out there. There's a couple Spider-Man villains. You guys know I want Spot more than anything. But yeah, versus, if you started collecting Marvel Legends now at the $25 or $30 price point, think of how much more difficult it is. Not only because you're chasing backstock, but you're now paying so much more. You're almost paying double what, someone has paid in the beginning of Marvel Legends. Well, if you really go back to the beginning when it was $7, you're paying like triple. So where am I going with all of this? We are definitely at a turning point in the collector community, especially with licenses changing. We've seen that already with McFarlane. And I have a very good feeling we're going to see the Marvel license swapping. And when you see these major licenses move from toy company to toy company, I'm not the only YouTubers who mentions this. New toy companies want to start over. They want to start with the big guns. Your Batmans, your Supermans, your Wolverines, your Spider-Mans, your Captain Kirks. Nobody's going to start a toy license off with a D-level character. I mean, just look what McFarlane did. It was like 2 years of practically only a Batman line with occasional Superman and maybe Green Lanterns. Now it's a DC Universe line or DC Multiverse line proper. But it took him a couple of years to really sort of milk the Batman sub-license or Batman family in order to sort of prove a path to market and get confidence from retailers that he could dig deeper. So if we're going to see the Marvel license also switch, and let's say it goes to a Mattel or a McFarlane, same thing. These companies are going to start from the beginning. They're not just going to, pick up Marvel Legends where they left off. We'd almost be hoping maybe they even keep the same scale. That's an unknown too. I mean, I could see 7-inch being where people want to go because the reason McFarlane went 7-inch instead of 6 was he wanted to differentiate himself with what came before, which was the Mattel line, the DC Universe Classic. And for those of us who wanted continuity in our scale, there were people who used that as an off-ramp. Other people used it as an on-ramp and said, I'm going to start my DC collecting. So my two kind of predictions for what we're going to see before the end of the year is we're going to see announcements of more licenses swapping around, which means more toy lines starting over again. And we're going to see that price point even out to what it really should be. Honestly, I believe that Marvel Legends basically should be retailing for $30. The reason they're not is because Hasbro is losing. They may not be losing like money on each figure, but they're not hitting as high of a margin target as maybe they're required to. And it may be because they know they're on their way out. I mean, they've mentioned they're working on 2026, but nothing beyond that. And, it's 2025, which means toy companies should be working on 2028 at this point, as far as like early design work for it. 2026 is already done, and 2027 is basically in B sheet and sculpt. So we'll see what happens. It's an exciting time, but I'm curious for all of you, is $30 your off-ramp? Will you keep going? And will you keep going if a new company takes over? How will this affect your collecting? There are two big things that are coming up, and I think we as collectors should be talking about this and kind of be prepared. So $30, new licenses, lines starting over. Let's hope the current companies can crank out those last remaining characters because team building, which I'm going to do a video on, is very important. Do they owe it to us? Stick around. I'm going to do a video on that coming up soon. Thanks for watching. Thanks for sharing, and I'll see you guys in the next video.